this is a poem called Old Street, New Town, and I wrote about growing up. So we were tykes riding bikes on our childhood estates, constantly plotting to run from home and escape, but who are we kidding? We had everything. A picture perfect painting of Middle England, of bulldogs and terriers terrorizing pedestrians, or a muddle of muddy clothes in the throes of a play fight, or a whirling dervish immersed in a skirmish in earnest. It was perfect, like a first kiss. I remember mine was with Harriet at the school disco. My parents thought it was the cutest, and I was 10 then, oblivious to my innocence. Back when a true connection took mere seconds, we weren't fickle. All it took was a bag of pogs, some Pokemon cards, and a bicycle. We would ride those roads to a call to our homes, and were doled our tea and told to go play till the daylight went away. We were 9/10 innocence, and the rest was grey's knees. It was all we could perceive that these days would never cease, and when our parents told us to be gone before we knew it, you could have skewered the disbelief. But they weren't wrong. They never were. Well, not back then anyway. So 5 years on, and I was never part of passing footballs in the park, more for drinking red wine in graveyards till way past dark. Me and the whole crew probably wearing more black than we were supposed to. We were smoke in a storm cloud, either being too loud or hidden in shrouds, and yes, we thought we were pretty cool. On school nights, we'd meet outside BK, then make a nuisance of ourselves till the police came. I remember Annika, face paint, running in the rain while she was running to save from a copper trying to stop her from playing her favourite game of bothering the Christians preaching on the corner, but they never caught her. She was always faster than the disorder in her wake. These were our first tastes of alcohol and rebellion. Maidstone's little hellions, skipping school because it was never kind to us, but it wasn't in a classroom that we learned what a friend was. See, friends were forever, or until they lost track of each other. I've searched for Annika everywhere, but your guess is as good as mine as to what happened to her. So 5 years on, again, and we were nightlife then, using student debts to find new friends, drowning sorrows that hadn't happened yet, like we were hedging our bets on a future bereft and doing our best to arrest the dawn as it crept in, but it was more than the morning we were stalling, really. We were holding back on the question marks in our spines that time bent in as it flung us in unexpected directions. We invented the answers by imbibing harder of Dutch courage beer jackets that made us bolder. This is how we found out who we were in the purr of the pub and the slur of the party. Me and Luke Carey, we were 9/10 sarcasm and the rest was running on empty. When we walked home on kebab meat streets with after party offal under our feet, there were sunsets in our peace. Like when Luke got leukemia and the streets got amnesia. But I swear, life wasn't supposed to be a goodbye. More like a bike ride full of near misses and first kisses. So hello, friends I haven't met yet. My bike is parked outside and I will race you to the fork in the road. Just promise me that you'll take it slow. There you go, poem.
Dude.
Boom. So you go first. I've heard that before, and I've got to say that's your best rendition that I've heard, Sven. But Tom, give me your reaction because you've never heard Sven throw some lines out there. I want to hear it.
Sven, so let me pretext this by saying I purposely didn't watch any of your stuff because I wanted to hear it live and just see what like the experience was, and I didn't know which one you were going to do, so I didn't want to hear it a second time, and
Okay, cool.
then had to sort of conjure something. Dude, what I loved about it is what you said. Is the essence of well, I forget what the person before you was it Kozakan?
Corsican.
Yeah, so bringing a very complex and emotional story into it was a visual thing for me, and I really loved the journey that you took us on of just innocence through adolescence and seeing that things weren't exactly perfect, and then through real tribulation, and then redemption at the end of like, look, I understand what the the graveyard and the carnage behind me is, and I need to make the best of this going forward, and I'm looking forward to that. Amazing, dude. Thank you for sharing that. That was really great.
Yeah. I'll second it too. That one is insane because like you said, like I'll echo what Tom said in terms of relatableness. Like just one line that you said was like, parents were always right, or at least they were back then. And it's like, that's something that everyone gets. Everyone gets that.
Yeah.
And I think so many motifs of what you just talked about are really beautiful. And actually, it made me think of a song that another friend of mine who does like music wrote himself, and it's again about growing up, scraping your knees, climbing trees, that kind of shit. And it's something that, like you said, we all go through. And I think the most beautiful part actually of that for me, other than being super relatable, is actually your use of rhyme in a very sexy way. In that, in that you do it very differently to. Here's what I would line it up with. I've seen one interview with Eminem, and I love this interview because it's absolutely hilarious. And someone's like, tell us about how you rhyme. And he's like, well, I take normal words that have normal syllables and I turn it into something different. And and the dude's like, so give us an idea of something. And he's like, well, people say you can't rhyme with orange, but I'm like, well, door hinge and porridge, and like you say it a bit different, and boom, it's there. And I think you encapsulated a lot of that in that of doing this rhyming, but you're using not even close to the same endings of words or the same ending syllable on things. Actually, it's in some cases a completely different thing, but that you've said in a really beautiful way. Also, dude, just as someone who's a performer, the way you perform that, and we're on a fucking Zoom call, was was damn impressive, dude. I love, and I also, going back to referencing, like we said earlier, putting on a performance, your levels of, it really brings people in when you're like talking low, talking happy, smiling, and then when it gets intense, raising the voice, being, powerful. That you like,
Yeah.
dude, it's fucking high level shit.
I
That's
love it. It's great, man.